What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome to Ash News Radio. I am your host, Ash Neal. That is I. So, we talking to y'all. Yes, there was a tragic stabbing a few days ago in Texas at a track meet where this kid here, Austin Metcalf, I think that's his name, he was stabbed by a young black boy named Karmelo Anthony. Not the Karmelo, but a kid that goes to the same school. Now, this story is very interesting because there's so many different opinions, and a lot of the opinions, I guess they're more focused on race. Yes, it was a black kid that stabbed a white kid and unalived him. So, I was doing some research, and man, when you go into the details of this story, it'll mess you up. It almost makes you think that we're on the verge of a civil war. And I'll tell you why. Because the father, shown here, of this kid, Austin, he basically said straight up, don't make this about race. He already knew. He said he seen it online that people were turning this into a racial thing, and he did not appreciate it.
This is just an absolutely heartbreaking story. A high school athlete fatally stabbed in the chest at a track meet in Texas. It happened on Wednesday morning after telling a fellow student that he was in the wrong place. 17-year-old Austin Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. His father, Jeff Metcalf, is speaking out about the tragedy, and Jeff joins us now. First of all, Jeff, let me just start by saying that there aren't words to express how shocked and saddened we are by your loss. And as a parent of a 14-year-old boy and an older man who's now making his own way in the world, I just can't imagine how you're facing the rest of your life without your son. I wanted to ask you this question. I know, 17 years old, and amazing. And he was an amazing kid, too. We'll get you to speak about him in just a moment. But I think a lot of people at home are saying, wait a second, how does this happen? He goes to a track meet on Wednesday and is murdered. What happened?
Now,
I wish I had
that's basically the gist of the story. He goes to a track meet and he's murdered. What happened, right? The what happened is what got everybody tripping. So let's unpack it together. And let's see what the father says. Let's see.
all the answers. The answer is my son is gone and he'll never come home again. I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and some gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not.
Wow. Pops came out and said, this is not a race thing. Well, Twitter and everybody else thinks otherwise. But what I do want to point out is the fact that he knew Fox News was going to go there. He did. He knew Fox News was going to try to make this about the kid being black, the kid that unalived his son. And he knew it. He was like, let me go ahead and set the record straight because I seen stuff online because I did too. And I just want y'all to know, this is not about race. So don't make it about race. Don't even make it about partisan issues. Don't politicize it. Check them right out the gate.
This is a human being thing. This person made a bad choice and it affected both his family and my family forever. It's a very unfortunate thing, but I know exactly what was happening. His brother was there who tried to save him and he died in his arms. So if you weren't there, please don't spread rumors.
Okay. His twin brother Hunter was there, and as we pointed out at the top of this, his twin brother tried to save him, couldn't save him, and Austin died in his arms. He spent the last moments of his life in his brother's arms as he went to meet God. But what did Hunter tell you happened?
What do you say?
The track meet was being delayed. Each individual high schools had like their own little tents to go sit under, and they were sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Mm-hmm. The individual was saying some words, and they turned to him and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." And he said, and he had a Centennial track sweat on. He said, "Hey man, you're in the wrong spot. You need to go sit with your team."
So your son tells some kid, Mello, he's in the wrong spot. Go sit with your team. Just for context, this is what the father's saying, right? We're going to try to unpack this whole story because we got to figure out what happened.
Words were then exchanged. I'm not going to get into the exact details. I know what my son told me.
There it is. That is the main part of this whole situation. What was being said? We're going to get to that in just a second.
Mm-hmm. But they asked him to move, and when Austin grabbed his backpack to move, take it.
Why? Why did Austin grab his backpack? What are you doing? You can't touch people's stuff. What are you doing? Okay. Let's see. Let's continue.
He stabbed him in the chest and killed him.
Oh my gosh. You know, we're seeing a picture of Austin on the screen right beside you. That's his
that's his last high school.
Just an incredibly handsome fellow. We know that he was college bound. He had a 4.0 grade point average.
Really?
MVP of his football team. What else do you want the nation to know about him?
He was becoming a great man. He had leadership capabilities, loyalty, compassion, love. He lit up the room everywhere he went. He's loved. Last night there was a vigil, very impromptu vigil at our church, Hope Fellowship. Over 1,700 people plus showed up. The outreach of this community, family, friends, people who don't even know me, has been overwhelming.
So, that's Austin, right? Austin was this kid, 4.0 GPA. That's what he said. And he was loved, right? He lit up the room. He was an amazing son, right? Of course, man, that's his daddy. Of course he's going to say all of that. You better represent your baby, especially at times like this. But he did have a very questionable pause when he was explaining what was being said during this altercation. So we're going to get to what was actually said, but I want to get into mom's take on everything, because she actually had an interview as well. And you know, this is not easy to take. It's not. So I respect both parties, mom and dad, coming up to tell us their spiel about their son. Let's continue.
A heartbreaking interview tonight with the mother and twin brother of the teenage boy murdered at a track meet in North Texas.
Fox's Alex Boyer with our sister station in Dallas has the story.
That 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. It also revealed that the suspect reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer that he stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco.
I think he was extremely smart, always in the box. He just came to him real easy, and just him playing with football as well just made him just a great person overall.
Here's what happened according to witnesses and
just humanize him, right? This is what you're supposed to do. That's your brother. He's a great person overall. the basic ploy to set up what may be coming later when the universe drops a gift on your table.
In the police report, Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing.
What do you mean? He just told this dude to move from the team's tent. That's doing the right thing? I read somewhere where they said he had friends over there. He was just chilling. And your son came up and was being aggressive. But she think he was doing the right thing.
And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is like because they have personal items there.
Oh. Black kid. We got our phones and stuff. You can't be right here. I wonder where they get it from.
Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said to Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens."
Touch me and see what happens. That is called a warning. That's a warning. You gave him a clear warning. Hey. First of all, I'm not doing nothing. I'm over here chilling real quick. And I don't know why you mad that I'm sitting right here, but just go on about your day. And if you touch me, you're going to see what happens. All right. Sounds like a response to an aggressive person.
Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
Metcalf reportedly, not allegedly, reportedly grabbed Karmelo to make a move. Her son was doing the right thing and grabbed somebody else's son to force them to move. Let's continue.
He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was it's just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody by a Frisco police officer, Anthony reportedly confessed to the crime, saying, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to," adding,
he admitted it. He put his hands on him. I told him not to. But I'm not going to lie. That's what happened. Look, I was protecting myself.
in that I was protecting myself. And
exactly. So they always talk about this stand your ground shit. They always talk about it. But when black folks want to stand their ground, they what? They call us aggressors. We're the bad one. No. You weren't supposed. You were supposed to see if your life was in danger. Then maybe we can make sense out of your actions. No. Sorry. Don't work that way.
And then asked the police officer, is he going to be okay? Metcalf died.
Wow. You mean to tell me Karmelo Anthony stabbed this aggressive kid who put his hands on him and tried to force him to leave? He was worried if he was going to be okay? Karmelo had that much compassion after stabbing him? He just wanted him to be okay? Come on now. Let's see. We're going to continue this story because we need to get down to the meat and potatoes of what actually happened.
In his brother's arms.
I'm not at that point to forgive and forget, but eventually I will. But I pray for his family. I pray that they understand what we're going through as well.
This whole community has really wrapped their arms around us, and if I could say anything to the nation, I would say to make sure that you just hug your babies tight.
Yeah. Yeah, please. Hug your babies tight, because you really don't know. You really don't know what can happen. Because think about it. This is one of those stories where we don't know the outcome. You know, Austin Metcalf was being aggressive to Karmelo Anthony. And if Karmelo didn't have a knife on him, what would the outcome have been? We don't know. But all stories lead to Austin being the aggressor. Sorry. That's just what it shows. And then you got everybody on Twitter. Oh, you know Twitter had to come with it. Twitter had its response. Yes. This has been one of those things that Twitter took by the horns and went wild with it. Let's see what's going on. Austin Metcalf. Let's see. Let's see what the tweet got to say. This is heartbreaking, man. Twin brothers speak out, witnessing siblings' tragic death. Let's see what he had to say.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid.
Austin grabbed his backpack.
I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like,
yeah,
a man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid.
Well, that is heartbreaking. You're right. It's for somebody to go out like that after just an altercation. A back and forth, you know, you're at a track meet, you know, you're trying to enjoy yourself. You got friends and family and out there, you know, you're getting ready to do some stuff. Nobody's thinking about losing their life, having an altercation. So what happened? That's what everybody wanted to know. What is this? Let's see. Oh. Austin Metcalf was a drug-using, gun-toting savage thug. Whoa, Twitter. Where did that come from? We're talking about this guy. Wait. I thought this was the good kid, the people person. Why are we being vicious? And this is where I start tripping on the story. I was like, dang, why is Twitter on this boy's head? What actually happened? What led to him losing his life like that? And why is everybody on his head calling him a drug-using savage thug? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what actually happened. You can't aggressively touch someone and expect for them to not respond a certain kind of way. You can't choose the outcome. You can't. You have to basically be prepared for whatever outcome comes your way because you decided to do that. Nobody told you to do whatever it is you felt you had to do. You offered that kind of negativity in your life, bro. It's tragic. But yes, the twins didn't just ask him to leave. I don't believe they did. They tried to jump him. Before attacking him, they tried to take his belongings, broke his phone, and stomped on it. What? Come on now. The twins are known bullies. Hey, so ask yourself, if a 200-pound plus attacker came at, I think this is your child, took your child, what would you want them to do? I can't see what's behind that. And yet, despite everything, the media is trying to destroy Karmelo's name. They keep pushing this picture of him with an airsoft gun, not even a real rifle, not even a real firearm, y'all. It's not even a real gun. To manipulate public perception. Exactly. Why? Ask yourself, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because they want to point him as a criminal instead of the victim. Wait, I would like to personally donate $10,000 to the family. Say his name, Austin Metcalf.
Brothers' hands like that.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? It's Forgiato Blue. I'm kind of at a loss for words here about this whole situation with Austin getting stabbed at a track meet his junior year. It's just kind of sad to me, especially in his twin brother's hands like that. We got to say his name. The news needs to talk about this. It needs to be everywhere. It hits home to me because I have two nephews that are twins, and life is precious and can be snatched at any moment. It's just terrible the way this happened. I want people to say his name.
We shouldn't have to share oxygen with these animals. Oh, shit. Remember, this is a fake gun. Fake gun. It's crazy. It's crazy. Twitter's going crazy. 4.0 student, a football team captain, a leader, a protector, a role model. Karmelo Anthony is the kind of young man every parent hopes to raise. He speaks with respect. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. He takes care of his young siblings and little cousins. He works hard, stays out of trouble, and carries himself with dignity. Yet, here he is, behind bars. Not because he was looking for trouble, not because he was the aggressor, but because he refused to be a victim. They jumped him, outnumbered him, attacked. He fought for his life, and now, instead of calling it what it is, self-defense, the system is trying to make him the villain. Man, the real bully is gone, but Karmelo is the one paying the price. The media won't tell you the truth. They want to spin a narrative to stir division, to push an agenda. But we won't be silent. We demand justice. We demand fairness. I agree. And the media is not helping. No. They're making this like Karmelo Anthony was this deranged kid who had family issues. And a thug who brought a knife to this track meet. Who does that? Who brings a knife to a track meet? That's how they're making it seem. Yes. And then, of course, you got all these motherfuckers that came out to say their piece. Yes. Everybody has something to say about this tragedy. And, of course, they all fell in line. Even though the father said, don't make this about race. They didn't care. Nope. They didn't. The first thing they said was, but it was a black kid. Here we have Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles had his little spill on this whole situation. And, of course, nobody wanted to take advice from Pops. They just wanted to make this about the black culture and these unhinged black kids.
Are we allowed to talk about the horrific murder of 17-year-old student Austin Metcalf? He's the young man who was stabbed in the heart at a track meet for asking another student to get out of his seat.
What? He was stabbed for asking another student to get out of his seat? That's not what happened. The father said that's not what happened. They said that he wasn't supposed to be sitting right there, but it wasn't his seat. What are you talking about? Watch how he framed this. This is what they do. This is what they do.
Horrific story out of Texas. This young kid, or young guy, but he's still a kid, a 17-year-old, Texas football, high school star, looking forward to college, looking forward to his whole life, was stabbed in the heart and died actually in his twin brother's arms because he went up and asked another kid to move out of his seat. And the other kid said, make me. And the football star took his bag or something to move it out. And
wow. The football star took his bag or something and just politely try to move him out. Of course, Mike, that So that's how it went down, Mike.
The kid sitting in the seat stabbed him in the heart. This is the victim's father speaking to local news.
He died in his brother's arms. They were twins, identical twins. And his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding. And he died in his brother's arms. And I rushed up there, and I saw him on the gurney. And I could tell. They said he wasn't breathing. I could see all the blood. I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet.
Hold on, buddy. Because there's reports that your son was yelling racial slurs and aggressively grabbing Karmelo, grabbing his arm and his bag and telling him to leave. What kind of parent raises kids like that?
And he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The guy was in the wrong place. They asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder. I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
Yeah, we do.
And you know what? I already forgive this person. Already. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
Okay. Now...
Right. And that's how he feels, and it's crazy how everybody attacked him. Even the white folks are the ones that attacked him. They was like, hey, bro, fuck this nigger. He killed your baby. It's crazy. It's like, whoa, hey, calm down, bro. He don't even want to make this about race. And y'all are like, it is. Hey, it's the world we live in. So fuck it. I'm on board. But let's see what Mike has to say.
That reaction has elicited criticism from the internet. Some people say he shouldn't have forgiven this guy. He shouldn't have forgiven him so quickly. He shouldn't be speaking in this gracious way.
Right.
One thing should be perfectly clear here. We don't criticize fathers one day after their sons are murdered. Okay? This guy is obviously in extreme...
Wait a minute. So, y'all didn't criticize Trayvon Martin's dad?
Extreme shock, extreme grief. He certainly has not processed even 1/1000th of what has just happened to him. And he's trying to speak in a way that is Christian, and he's doing his best.
I hate the way people say that. He's trying to speak in a way that's Christian. Like, the First Amendment says we have a separation of church and state, right? It's almost unconstitutional for you bastards to be like, everything is, it's the Christian values that's missing. It's because you're not Christian. You hear him, he speaks like a Christian. I think that's your problem. And then the way you talk, this motherfucker talks like a robot. Like, bro, you are very unrelatable. But we're going to let you give your spiel because for some reason I know this bothers you because it was a young black boy that did this to this little white kid.
What he is obviously trying to articulate here,
big ass white kid,
is the notion that revenge is mine, says the Lord, and I will repay. Their foot shall slide in due time. That's what he's trying to articulate here, okay? And so we don't criticize people whose sons were just murdered. There is nothing in that father's reaction that even to discuss the kind of way in which this murderer was raised that suggests, I don't know, letting him off the hook.
You see how they use the word murderer? You see how even before all the information comes out, they're just calling him a murderer? Even though self-defense is what looks like the case. We don't even have all the evidence yet. He's not even saying it allegedly. So, hey, Karmelo family, get him. You can sue him for calling you a murderer. If it's found that you were defending yourself and this motherfucker called you a murderer, didn't even say alleged murderer, just framing you as that person, oh yeah, go for his pockets.
Hook or something like that. Okay, obviously, the murderer should be, at the very least, imprisoned for life and possibly put down like a rabid dog, okay?
He said Karmelo need to be put down like a rabid dog before all the information come out. Now, mind you, most of the information that came out is Austin was the aggressor. But this piece of shit might think that Karmelo need to be put down like a dog.
Okay, by the state after due process. There's no question about that. But it doesn't mean that one cannot examine the circumstances that led to this point. And that is the part that has become a debate about this incident, because of the obvious fact that a black kid on a hair trigger murdered this white kid over essentially nothing. So there's a racial aspect.
See? Minimize black pain again. That's what they do. They always minimize that shit. Oh, somebody came up and called him a nigger. That don't mean nothing. Yeah, it was small, minute, little issue. Hey, we're not playing no more.
To it too. And a lot of people are saying, we can't talk about this. We can't talk about it. When it's a black guy who murders a white guy, we can't talk about it. And that isn't exactly true. The establishment media were not quick to pick up on this story. It mostly took off on the internet. But the establishment media are talking about it now, and we obviously are talking about it. A lot of people are talking about it. If it were a white kid who murdered a black kid, it would be international news. There would be mass protests. Cities would burn to the ground. If it's a black kid murders a white kid, some people will talk about it. If it's a black kid who murders a black kid, no one will talk about it. If it's a white kid who murdered a white kid, that doesn't happen that often, but probably that wouldn't be all that notable.
He said that doesn't happen that often. You sure? Are you sure, Mike? Or you guys just don't cover it that often? Because we know what optics is. You have to frame something in order for people to have some emotional attachment to it. And you have to be like, oh, this is happening. If you say it over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes a narrative. And people will start believing it. Even if it's happening at the same rate as other things, like let's say black on black crime is happening at the same rate as white on white crime, but you're not covering it as much as you're covering black on black crime, then yes, it's going to look like these black folks is out here tripping. And it's going to make you believe that white on white crime don't happen that often.
But it is notable, and people actually are talking about it, including the establishment media, because a black kid murdered a white kid. And they're not really talking about the pertinent aspect of this story, what makes it newsworthy. Wow. And that is, how many red flags in this kid's life were ignored and why? When the father of the victim says, how was this kid raised? What were his parents like?
Okay. Wait. So, Michael Knowles is going to go into a, rant on the red flags that Karmelo could have shown, that maybe someone could have caught earlier or some shit to keep him from protecting himself? I don't know. Let this dumbass continue.
He's suggesting, I think with fair evidence, that the kid was raised in some kind of terrible home. 70% of black kids are born out.
With some fair evidence. What's the evidence? He was defending himself, Mike. What's the fair evidence? I heard that he was the track star. And Austin was the bully. The football player. It was the track meet. Austin wasn't even supposed to be there. Sorry. You're these ghetto ass black kids shouldn't be amongst us. It's not working, bro. Sorry. He was an athlete.
Born out of wedlock. I don't know if this kid was born out of wedlock.
You don't know.
Alleged perpetrator, but it would be a good bet.
What? Why? Why would you say that it'd be a good bet that this black kid was born out of wedlock? Why? Tell me. Because he's black? Because he killed someone? He unalived someone that was a threat to his life? But you can concede that you don't know that he may not be, but you're just guessing, and you can just bet, and this is a great bet. This is what we're talking about. You guys will look at us. Forget what we read about Karmelo, right? We all know that he was an athlete. He was a very outstanding, well-spoken young individual. But just the narrative, black kid kills white kid, had to be a thug, had to have been born out of wedlock. Just a lucky guess, but I bet you'd be a good bet. Oh, my God.
How does a kid go off on a hair trigger like that? And how did no one know about it? I bet people did know about it. I bet there were teachers who saw this kid's behavioral problems before.
Well, it was documented that Austin and his brother were known bullies. You're right. There was some signs.
I'm simply basing it off of this incident. I don't know anything about the alleged perpetrator other than that. But I bet teachers saw that. I bet counselors at the school saw that. I bet members of the community saw that.
Saw what? What did they see? You keep saying, oh, I don't know nothing about this kid, but I bet you they seen that. What the fuck did they see? I heard he was a 4.0 GPA athlete, track star. What did you think these counselors seen? Come on, Mike. You're racist. The kid had a knife on him. He wasn't out wailing that bitch around. My motherfucking thug. I'm gonna stab somebody. No, he gave this aggressor multiple warnings and said, hey, if you touch me, you're gonna fuck around and find out. But you think that these counselors had to have seen something in him. Somebody missed these signs. What signs? Come on. Say it. Come on, Mike. Michael. Say it.
And I bet they looked the other way. Because if you ever punish people of a favored demographic, that could get you in trouble.
He said it. If you punish people of a certain demographic, you get in trouble. Yeah, no. You can't just discriminate and profile, Mike. You can't. You didn't know that? Mike, you didn't know that you can profile people? You think in your fucking pea brain that teachers and counselors can just go and pull random black kids off the campus and go question them? Hey, you got a knife? Do you think about stabbing somebody that's about to attack you soon? What the fuck are you talking about?
I bet there were a lot of warning signs here that had to be ignored because we live in a culture that has a racial caste system, of course, and says that white people are terrible and all non-white people can do no wrong.
See? You proving our point. Nobody said all white people were terrible, but you know what is being said. You know people are out there criticizing the fact that there's people like you out there that feel like it's okay to pull any black kid up and question them. There's a lot of y'all out there. Some of them are in the position of power. Some of them are teachers. And they do the shit that you are explaining. So yes, there are some people that's like, hey, fuck these people. These motherfuckers is out here snatching up kids and profiling black folks. And you're going to get in trouble for it. So yeah, Mike, it's not allowed.
We live in a culture in which the bad guys get away with a lot of bad things and the good guys are punished. The best example of this in recent memory is the Daniel Penny case, where you have some lunatic who gets on a subway in New York, threatens to kill everybody. This Marine, Daniel Penny, comes up and takes the bad guy down, protects the subway car, takes him down. Yeah. And then who do the prosecutors go after? They go after the good guy for having the temerity to intervene and stop the bad guy.
Let's see how this segment ages. Let's see. Let's see if later on we find out that Karmelo Anthony was defending himself. And I wonder if everything is, settled, he's out of jail, charges are dropped, if Michael Knowles will retract this statement.
That's what makes this case notable. Beyond the mere tragedy of it, that's what makes this notable. What red flags were shown before? Because those people, those teachers, those members of the community, the members of the alleged perpetrator's family, they have blood on their hands. The culture, which says that we can never criticize black people.
Remember, this is what he said. I don't know if there's anything, but there's blood on their hands. Yeah, I don't know if this kid was born out of wedlock or had these underlying issues, but I know that these counselors missed something, and now there's blood on their hands.
People, and we all constantly have to criticize white people, and we can never suggest that there are good modes of behavior and bad modes of behavior. The culture that says that it's none of your business if two people get married before they have children. You do you and I'll do me.
Bro, there are some married white folks that raise school shooters. But what are you talking about? You think a piece of paper that two adults get after they say I do will keep the child from acting out in school? Is that your thesis? Like, because I know a lot of people that have been in a relationship for a very long time. We're talking like 10, 15, 20-year relationship. And I know motherfuckers that's been married 8 times. Divorce, married again. Divorce, married again. Divorce, married again. What is this being born out of wedlock shit contributing to someone's mental state? Now, I will grant you a 2-parent household. Yes, kids do grow up with a more promising future if they have both mom and dad. Right. We get that. But this wedlock, you think that they're cursed if they had kids before they put a ring on it? Some people don't agree with marriage. So that logic is just fucking stupid.
The culture that mocks the notion of the common good. That all of those things have blood on their hands.
The common good.
That's what makes this a truly political story beyond a horrific local murder story. And that's the part that we should actually be talking about.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that fool because he's not the only one. There's a lot of them out there that believe that it's because he was black. And it's just the lack of love and the fatherless home and being born out of wedlock. It contributed to this. And a lot of teachers and counselors, they could have caught these signs a long time ago. Y'all, stop it. Stop it. Because this is what you're going to do. You're going to end up opening up this bag of worms for other people to criticize every atrocity committed by white people. And then we're going to have the right to start asking legitimate questions about, hey, what goes into the psyche of a school shooter, a mass shooter, those white crimes, even incest? Like, what goes through your head? Is it because you're born in a 2-parent household with marriage and shit? No, bro, it makes no sense. But that's how their brain works. And these people are supposed to be fucking educated. I don't get it. I don't get some of this bullshit. But we have another idiot in his take on this whole situation, Steven Crowder.
If you have already seen the story, that means that you're not watching legacy media. This is one of the top trends on pretty much all the social platforms right now, and it has not been covered by so-called mainstream news outlets. This really does show that divide, and I have a hunch as to why. Yesterday, and I warn you, this is a heartbreaking story.
Yeah.
A boy named Austin Metcalf, and I'm just gonna, a white student was stabbed to death by Karmelo Anthony.
See how he said it? I'm going to just say it. I know I'm going to get canceled for saying it, which he ain't, but he felt it like inside. Like, should I raise bait? Fuck it, I'm going to raise bait. This white kid was killed by Karmelo Anthony.
A black student. And I know what you're thinking. Another basketball player went broke and is robbing high school students. That was...
Oh, wow. No, nobody's thinking that. Nobody.
Wrong Karmelo Anthony. Different Karmelo.
I don't follow the sports, so Josh told me it's funny. He plays basketball,
so
correct?
Sad. We have to find a way.
Yeah. So
this is what you call white humor. Like, everybody in that room thought that shit was funny. It was probably talking about, man, that shit gonna land. So all you gotta do is deliver it right, and we got him. Ha! Stupid motherfuckers.
There was a black student, and this was at a track meet, a stabbing. People use the term senseless killing. And yeah, most killing is senseless, but often you can find a motivation, or you can find some kernel of, warped as it may be, reasoning from the killer's point of view. And I understand they're psychopaths, they can be sociopaths, but sometimes there's something we go, okay, this is where it went wrong. In this case, it truly does meet the definition of a completely senseless killing. And that's why it's so heartbreaking. It happened in Frisco, Texas. Here's a briefing.
Frisco Memorial High School community will honor a student today after he was stabbed to death at a track meet. Yesterday morning, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kukendall Stadium. Frisco police say around 10 a.m., 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight. It's unclear how Anthony got the knife into the meat or exactly what led up to the fight. Anthony now facing first-degree murder charges.
It's tragic, and actually, here's a look at, of course, this has touched a lot of people, the violent protests in reaction to the stabbing.
That's supposed to be funny. He said that's the violent protest right there in reaction to the stabbing. There's nobody out there. That's the punchline. That a black kid kills a white kid. Nobody goes out and storms. Well, Mr. Stephen Clam Chowder, he was arrested. That's why you guys aren't out in the streets storming the sidewalk or whatever this place is you decide to use. But guarantee you, if that black kid didn't get arrested and at least was facing charges, oh, you sons of bitches would have been out there with your face painted. Stop.
starting to get the picture? Now, I'm going to be quite clear about this. This is not racially motivated as far as we know.
Yeah.
But to act as though there isn't a
The father said it wasn't. Shut up.
component or a pattern that people recognize, that would only serve to breed more racism. We do need to have an honest conversation about this, especially as white Americans who have been browbeaten as the greatest domestic terror threat, as white supremacy, of course, labeled as the greatest threat to national security. We've seen that.
Right. It is.
And it's untrue.
How's it untrue? So you know more than the FBI. Okay. Because that's what the FBI said. They said these radical white folks, which they're out there, they're the threat to American society. And they are. No, that shit goes unchecked. What happened in Cincinnati, Ohio? Nothing. Police actually helped the motherfuckers leave after threatening black folks. They actually said on camera, I am here. I am ready to fight niggers. And nothing happened.
And you can't solve a problem if you don't actually understand the nature of the problem.
Yeah, they all mad. All of them. And I love it. Because this is that time where, because that's what I said in the beginning, is this, are we inching for a civil war? Eighth of an inch at a time. Are we? Because think about it. Think about what's going on. You have Trump deporting all black folks or brown folks from Haiti to Venezuelans to Mexicans. And then he says all the white folks from South Africa could come in. Think about it. Are we itching closer for a civil war when you got white nationalists going to Cincinnati, Ohio, talking about they ready to fight some niggers? Are we getting closer to a civil war when two black kids, twins, are found dead on a mountain and a white firefighter takes pictures of them? And he's only arrested for the pictures. And then there's, I guess, it's looked at as a suicide. So are we itching closer to a civil war when you got this situation where a white kid was clearly being the aggressor to a black kid, and he defends himself, and even though the father says, please don't politicize it, that's what people are doing. That is what people are doing. And it's not all white folks. Here we have Jason Whitelock. He's discussing this situation as well.
I want to play you Austin Metcalf's dad and his response yesterday. Now, his son is killed Wednesday morning.
Mind you, this is what the last dude said. Everybody is on the head of Austin's daddy. They're mad at him. And the only reason that they are mad at him is because he told them not to make it racial. That's how bad they wanted to make this racial, that he's getting criticized even though his baby just died.
Here's his response via interview yesterday, hours after his son is murdered in front of his other son. Here's Austin Metcalf's, I think his name's Drew Metcalf, his dad, Drew Metcalf. Here's a portion of his interview.
I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet, and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The guy was in the wrong place. And they asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder. I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
Yeah, we do.
And you know what? I already forgive this person. Already. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
All right. Hold on. Because we've seen a few of these takes where his dad actually said not to make it racial. Not to make it racial. He didn't say this on this take that Jason decided to show us. But his coon brain is still gonna go there.
The man loses his son, and he lets a few sparks fly, lets off some steam. Hey, what kind of family does this kid come from? It's a natural response. Don't blame Drew Metcalf for having that response.
Of course not. I had that response.
Best I can tell, Karmelo Anthony's parents, pretty supportive. Really involved in their child's life.
Really?
You know, I'm sure moved out to the Frisco area trying to put their son in the best environment.
Okay. What do you know?
But Karmelo Anthony's parents exist in a world where their kids exist in this black culture bubble. And
there it is. Like, Jason. Jason, what did he do? He was defending himself, Jason. How you know that they're in a black culture bubble? How you know they even like hip hop music? They probably don't even fuck with the culture. We don't know. They could be, you know, some cornballs that think that had the same views as you. Who knows? You don't even know that. You're just so stuck up this anti-black rhetoric, you just want to say whatever comes to your motherfucking head for a fucking video.
Have to adhere to this black culture bubble and mentality and culture that's enforced and imposed on them. I don't want to call his parents victims, but they are. They have to raise their child, and maybe they participate in this black culture. Maybe Karmelo Anthony's parents, they like most black people, maybe they love this hip hop culture and promote it. Maybe they love Black Lives Matter. Maybe they promote the mentality that black people are entitled to things. Black people are perpetual victims.
Oh my God. Wow. You're just on a cold ass self-hating rant for no reason. Like, you didn't even play the segment of Austin's dad where he was talking about not to make this racial. But immediately, because he asked, who would raise someone like this? You conceded that it could have been him blowing off steam, just asking a normal question. But you're just like plowing in with all this. Oh, maybe they are some hip hop junkies that go to the club every night, wear red bottoms and pop Percocets and shit and twerk and got BBLs. Like, you don't even know these people. But it's not going to keep you from pandering to your fucking viewers to make this a racial thing. You're trying to make this a racial thing. Even though there are witnesses that state that Austin was calling him a nigger and he was defending himself. you decide to assume that his parents participate in the black. What the fuck are you talking about?
And that the white man is the source of all their evil. Maybe, I don't know. But from what I could tell, they seem pretty supportive and involved in their son's life. And to the point of like, were they pampering and spoiling this kid too much? I saw pictures of like, it looked like they gave him a Lexus on his 16th birthday.
What's wrong with that?
And then the next year he's got a Jeep truck.
Huh.
And I'm not.
What? So first he was born out of wedlock. His parents may participate in this black culture, this negative perpetuation of black folks. They're forced to follow hip hop and have this mentality to go around and carry a knife to schools and stab people for no reason. The mentality of these people in the black culture. But yet, they're a supporting family. They love him. They gave him a Lexus and a Jeep one year. He must have been doing good. Birthday. They got money. They got a little bit of bread. They're not these people that you think they are, that you wish they were. Yet, he's an educated track star who happens to get gifts like this from a loving family. And who was protecting himself from a racist little white kid. And he survived. You know what, Jason? I think racism has to hit your home directly for you to understand that it exists. Because I guarantee you, if you have kids and your kids were caught in an altercation and they actually got the better hand of said altercation, and let's say this altercation did have something to do with race, but it was the aggressor coming to your kids trying to take advantage of them, get the best of them, and your kids actually overpowered them, and the police were called, and they were trying to demonize your son or daughter. And everybody said, before they even found out who you were, look at that baby. He looks like he's part of the black community, the black culture. That person needs to be arrested. Who's his parents? Was he born out of wedlock? That's what they would say about even your baby. So for you to just sit there and carry water for these motherfuckers all the goddamn time, trying your hardest to fucking demonize this 4.0 GPA fucking track star who has a loving family who's willing enough to buy him a Jeep and a Lexus when he's either doing good or a birthday. It's disgusting that you're willing to stoop that fucking low.
Not blaming them. They're dealing with a lot.
What are they dealing with? Yeah, you are.
And I don't know them. I just know they were supportive and they were trying to give their son all the things that they thought were necessary to make him happy and well-rounded. And the argument that I'm making today, you can't buy your kids out of trouble. You can't give them fancy cars and keep them out of trouble.
Yeah, you can. You can actually pay for that bond. And what is it, $1 million bond? All they gotta do is come up with 100,000, 10%. Nigga, his freedom could be bought.
You must make your children surrender to Jesus Christ and a biblical worldview. That's your only hope.
What the fuck are you talking about? See? Jason, they did a number on you. All them people did a number on you, whoever they are.
Because if they surrender to a biblical worldview, they will reject black diss culture. They will reject hip hop culture. They will hear it, see it, and understand it for what it is. It's a death culture.
Hip hop culture has nothing to do
that will lead your child to imprisonment or an early grave.
Hip hop culture has nothing to do with death. It's what they're showing you. It's the hip hop they give you to digest, because there's a lot of conscious rappers out there that's talking about emboldening the culture, embracing their women, their wives. They look at them as their queen. They're all about family structure and bettering themselves. But the people who are in charge of these record labels, they don't want you to hear black greatness. They don't. They want you to hear about these niggas shooting up each other. That's all they want to hear. That's what makes money. And then you got dumbasses like this piece of shit over here that think that that's what hip hop is about. No, that's what they made it about.
So I understand why Drew Metcalf said that, and out of frustration, I get why he's like, man, what are his parents about? Who would raise a child that would bring a knife to a track meet in Frisco, Texas? Think it through. Hey, I'm going to Frisco, Texas for a track meet. I better carry a knife.
It's his track meet. That's what I heard. I heard he was running for the other team. And those bullies were football players that were just there spectating. And this is a knife we're talking about. I'm sorry. I remember when these little white kids was running around with all kind of pocket knives. Swiss Army knives. That was the shit. Little boy got the best army knife in the neighborhood. But who raises the kids like this that bring knives to track meets? Shut up, Jason. Stop. It don't work no more. Stop.
Why? Because, again, he's a part of a culture that thinks you need to be armed and ready for violence at any and all times.
What? According to the Second Amendment people. Oh my God. Jason, do you even hear yourself? I don't think he knows what he's saying. That's why he got these long ass pauses. He's trying to think about what to say next. But, bro, stop. You're making the ass out of yourself, nigga. I don't even know if you could do that even further. But white folks that you follow, they walk around with guns on their hip at Walmart. What are you talking about? Whitelock? This is Jason Whitelock in his full fucking coonderism.
He's not coming in peace because black culture tells you you don't come in peace. Someone steps on your shoes, someone disrespects you, you meet that with force.
Now that's something that we all criticize the black community about. Black community, leaders in the black community actually criticize black on black violence. Bro, we talk shit about the hip hop that you're talking about. But our voices isn't being heard. They don't want to hear from black folks with a head on their shoulders. They want to hear from black folks who got their head up somebody else's ass. Like you. Sorry, bro. Everybody that rap is not as negative as you're trying to paint them out to be. Sorry. You're just untalented. So when you hear anything that got to do with talent, it's like, oh, these ball players, these rappers, these singers, they're the community. You just mad because you dumb, fat, and black, and you need some kind of fucking representation, and we already disowned your fucking ass, and now you're just pandering to the worst of the worst in the fucking country. That's what you're doing. You just want to make these buzz noises, these little clicks. Oh, Jason Whitlock, he's black, and he said. That's what you're doing. I've been on a journey for the last 3 days with this story, and there's not too many brothers with your view. Hell, I'm waiting for Officer Tatum coon ass to come out with a video. You beat him to it. Like, come on, man. Evidence isn't even out. Only evidence we have is that this kid, Karmelo Anthony, is a 4.0 GPA student that is on the track team. And he defended himself. And you're going on and equating him to the worst of the worst in the community. You're disgusting.
Look, I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you what's going on with young people as a whole, because there's a nihilistic mentality across America, globally. But as it relates to black kids and this black culture that's been defined for us, this problem is really, really acute. And we have to muster the courage to reject it. And it really doesn't take courage. It takes fear of God to reject it. If you're serious about your faith walk, if you're serious about raising and properly developing young people.
Shut up. These are the motherfuckers that are the problem. Watch out for niggas like that. Because those are the ones that are going to sit there and throw their people under the bus when everything hit the fan, because this is what it seems like they're framing or setting everything up with their framing. They're going to try, after demonizing all the brown folks around the world, what did they do? They started attacking the local black folks, like the 60s gang. You know, and then the next thing you know, rappers are starting to fucking get locked up for crimes that were committed years ago. They're just trying to find a way to say, all right, let's get these niggas too. So yes, it's going to be people like Jason Whitlock. It's going to be snitching on niggas that are just defending themselves. And we got to watch out for him. So after that smear campaign, Karmelo's family decided to let the world know who he was, because there was too much heat on his name, right? So they decided to say, hey, let's go ahead and give y'all what the news is not telling y'all, Jason and others, because since you keep saying you don't know who he is, let them tell us.
A relative of a Frisco teenager took to Facebook to defend him Friday. Kevin Hayes wrote that Karmelo Anthony defended himself against violent aggressors in a now viral Facebook post. He calls the victim and his twin brother bullies and claims they tried to take his belongings, broke his phone, and stomped him.
Look at that. They try to take his belongings. Come on, Jason. Let's read it. The truth about Karmelo. Let's set the record straight. Enough with the misinformation. Let's talk about facts, Jason. Let's talk about facts. 1, it's normal. It's normal. Listen, it's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Normal fucking behavior. Karmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. This hip-hop dummy had friends there. Mr. Jason. Let's continue. 2, the claim that one of the twins had never seen Karmelo before, a blatant lie. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he didn't know Karmelo. He did say that. He did. Well, the brother said straight up on the news, Oh, I didn't even know his name. He said it's a lie. 3, no student has the right to remove another student from a school's own tent. The school owns the tent, not the fucking twins. Jason, are you listen? Like, they're laying out that these twins were the aggressors, trying to remove an innocent kid from where his friends were sitting at. Jason, my goodness. 4, Karmelo is a track athlete. I read that before. The twins are not. He wasn't even expecting to see them there. Like, these are football players. They ain't even supposed to be there. I mean, they could be there. Niggas open public place. You know, he probably got friends there too. But to sit there and be like, why was the black kid there? In the wrong seat? He probably wasn't even going to be sitting alone. The nigga's actually, he's a track star. He's probably going to be running. I don't know. I wasn't there. But fuck. This is crazy.
On it.
I'm sure the defense would argue that he's a young man, he's scared, he's allegedly just been jumped by multiple people, and, he panicked.
Attorney Mike Howard.
It's going to be complicated, and it's going to depend on what the witnesses there say.
The witnesses already said. They said that the teens were being aggressive. They said that one of them broke his phone. What do you mean? Who is this attorney guy? Of course. We know it's predicated on a witness statement. A witness statement is already saying that dude was defending himself. Come on, attorney.
Arrest warrant says Anthony, a student at Frisco Centennial High School, was under Memorial High School's tent. The warrant says Austin Metcalf, a Memorial student, told him to leave. He says he told Austin, touch me and see what happens.
One of the prohibitions in self-defense is the person claiming self-defense cannot provoke the incident and then claim self-defense when...
What are you talking about? He didn't provoke nothing. Nope. That is self-defense statements. Clear as day. Those are response when you're in a self-defense for a deterrent purpose. Some people actually don't even have what they are claiming to have. They just do it to hopefully bluff and keep the aggressor from advancing forward. So for you to sit there and try to say that, oh, he ain't gonna be able to claim self-defense if he's over here provoking the situation. No, that wasn't provoking. No, that was a clear warning. Sorry, you're a horrible lawyer. Horrible lawyer.
When they act.
The warrant says a short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. And Anthony pulled a knife from his bag and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest.
Anytime the alleged victim does not have a weapon, that makes it difficult, not impossible, but difficult for the suspect to claim self-defense.
Not impossible. It may be difficult, but not impossible. What are you talking? What? No. The perpetrator doesn't have to have a weapon in order for you to claim self-defense. You don't know what the perpetrator could have. Nobody knows. The nigga he could have anything on him that is concealed. You don't have to have a weapon to feel threatened. The person that is threatening you do not have to have a weapon for you to feel threatened. Not at all. So whoever this lawyer is, he's lying. He's literally lying. He's trying to save face for everybody else. That's like, oh, is this going to be a good case for others? He's like, he knows it. Nah, this kid's going to get off. But he's trying to like straddle the fence. I mean, there's still a possibility he can go to jail, but not likely. So yeah, this case it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy case, and I think he should get out. We all do. This is self-defense. It's a self-defense at its core. Sorry, you're in a stand your ground state. I think it's an open carry state, if I'm not mistaken. Texas, somewhere, some places in Texas is open carry. You're not about to allow a kid that is known for bullying, mind you, We're talking about reputation and what the kid said. Like this lawyer said, it's going to be predicated on what the witness say. If the witness can sit back and paint the picture that Karmelo was just sitting there chilling with his friends, enjoying his day, and these two kids came up to him and started bullying him, harassing him, even went to the length to put their hands on him, take his property, and attempt to remove him from a location. Now, you move somebody 3 feet from where they are stationed, that is considered kidnapping. Don't argue with me, argue with the law. But if all of that took place, then under the law, under the guise of the law of stand your ground, you have the right to defend yourself. You do. So for these people to pretend like Karmelo is a murderer, like just straight up murderer, come on, bro. Come on. Let the information come out, and then maybe y'all can eat crow later. But for right now, all I know is that if you are one of those racist motherfuckers that feel like you need to push your weight around and tell black folks where they can sit, just remember, someone just fucked around and found out.